Now, can we move now to this whole issue of trailblazer groups? Some of us have had to learn all sorts of new terminology as this skills arena has sort of emerged, developed and evolved. And this is one of them. So we have Geraint Richards, who's very kindly agreed to speak on his role in the development of trailblazer apprenticeships and how they can help us develop careers within our sector. Geraint.
Well, Lord Curry and ladies and gentlemen, many thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak at this important event today. I will just be speaking to you. I have no images. I think a picture of a group of us for the umpteenth time meeting to discuss the finer details of trailblazer standards would not be particularly interesting, so you're just going to have to listen to me. But the past 3 years I have been chairing an industry group that's been developing the Level 2 Forest Operative Trailblazer Apprenticeship, and I'm going to say more about that in a moment. But I do also speak to you today as someone who is deeply concerned about providing young people with the necessary knowledge and skills to enter careers in the land-based sectors, careers that we all know can be incredibly fulfilling. Now, if I can take you back just some 30 years to a time when I would, most days after school, walk my dog around the woodlands of the Chiltern Hills on the edge of which we lived. And as I walked my dog there, it soon became apparent to me that this was the environment that I wanted to spend my career in, amongst trees and woodlands and forests. But how did one pursue a career in forestry? Well, fortunately for me, the Forestry Commission's local district office was just down the road, and I arranged to go and meet the local district forester and a recent forestry graduate. He kindly gave of his time and guided me to university courses. And then later one summer, one of his colleagues in the Forestry Commission gave me 3 weeks practical work experience, which was vital. Later again, when I actually did my degree at Bangor University in forestry, the Forestry Commission provided me with a year-out placement, which was critical in terms of my career development. And then actually, when I graduated, there was a job to go to with the Forestry Commission down in Kent and Sussex. Now, I'm not here to talk about me in particular or about the Forestry Commission. But the point I want to make is that as a young person, I was helped by those in the forestry sector to find my way into the forestry sector. With all due respect to my school teachers and careers advisors, I don't think that they knew there were careers in the forestry sector. And if it hadn't been for the time set aside for me, the guidance offered to me, the enthusiasm instilled in me by people like Steve Scott, Mark Pryor, Dave West, names not known to you, but incredibly important to me, well, who knows whether or not I would have ended up in this wonderful world of forestry. There are, you see, so many barriers, so many obstacles to prevent young people from pursuing careers in the land-based sectors. Barriers that I keep coming across wherever I travel in the UK or even when I go abroad. And I just want to name a few of those barriers. And firstly, I think, and it's been highlighted already, knowledge, awareness that a wide range of fulfilling careers are actually available in the land-based sectors for all sorts of people, whether you are more practically or academically focused. We talked about how increasingly urbanised our society is becoming and how detached from the land young people are today. But this isn't just a problem in our towns and cities. In many a rural village and hamlet, there may be little awareness of the variety of work that is taking place in the immediate environment. We support a local primary school near one of the Duchy of Cornwall's woodlands in Herefordshire, and the headmaster, who is incredibly enlightened, told me that in this rural community they have to provide about half the children with Wellington boots because they haven't got any. If a young person does feel that pull towards a land-based career, it's quite likely that their teachers, their parents, their careers advisors will not be able to offer much in the way of guidance. And indeed, they may actively discourage that young person from pursuing such a career because of the widespread perception that land-based careers are not a strong career choice. Now, we need to change that perception. And I think we have to admit, as land-based sectors, we haven't been very good at promoting the range of careers that we offer, nor of making the career pathways clear and easily accessible. And I think part of the problem may lie in the lack of a collaborative approach amongst the many organisations in our sectors. There are so many individuals and organisations doing good things in the education and skills arena, but so often this activity is not joined up, and so confusion and not cohesion reigns. There are other barriers we need to overcome. For instance, I've seen the figures, but still the relatively low number of individuals, or at least it's perceived, involved in the land-based sectors in any particular geographic area. And the numbers are not headline grabbing. And hence these important jobs and the need for succession for new entrants can get overlooked by the decision makers. But I would remind you, if you need reminding, I'm sure you don't, that an expression I use, these jobs are low in numbers, but they are high in impact. These are the jobs that ensure we have food on our tables, fuel in our fires. These are the jobs that keep the beautiful British countryside exactly that, beautiful. These are the jobs that provide us with gardens and parks and woodlands and forests, which we increasingly understand deliver a whole range of social, environmental and economic benefits. These are the jobs that keep rural communities alive, the school, the post office, the church. These are the jobs. Low in numbers maybe, but high in impact. And so they shouldn't be overlooked, but I would argue overtly supported. But rural communities do offer challenges, and we keep coming across these. Accommodation can be expensive. Transport networks are poor. These are more of the barriers that need to be overcome in order to attract the next generation into the workforce. And another difficulty lies in the fact that rural businesses are often scattered geographically. And so it's difficult to get a critical mass when it comes to training new entrants. Added to that, training is generally expensive due to the nature of the work and the equipment and the machinery involved. Plus, so many land-based businesses now are SMEs, small, medium-sized enterprises, often self-employed contractors and subcontractors. Those days where the Forestry Commission, I know they are running apprentices, good for them, but those days when they had a major workforce that took in so many young people, or estates like I work for used to have their own estate team, they've gone. Much of the world out there is now a contractor, subcontractor base, and these people just do not have the time or the understanding to take on a trainee, however enthusiastic they are about the sector they work in. So I could go on listing the barriers, but I'm sure you can see the point that I am making. Fulfilling careers in the land-based sectors are available, and society as a whole will benefit from these careers. But we need to work together. We need to collaborate to overcome the numerous obstacles that currently prevent many from making the land their career choice, their place of work. And working together is very much what a group of employers began to do when the new Trailblazer apprenticeships were announced a few years ago. Today's meeting is entitled Apprenticeships, Skills and Our Workforce. Are we prepared? And this group of land-based employers were determined to be prepared, to make sure that our sectors are on the front foot with regard to the new type of apprenticeship. And there's kind of three words I just want to leave you with as I think about our Trailblazer experience: collaboration, consultation, and communication. And firstly, collaboration. Rather than operate in silos, which we do so often, the arboriculture, forestry, horticulture, and landscaping sectors joined forces to form a principal group. We decided there would be strength in numbers. And under this principal group, each of those sectors had its own subgroup: forestry, arboriculture, horticulture, and landscaping. And since the autumn of 2014, this employer-led consortium, which has representation from private, public and charitable sectors, has met regularly, and I have to say with thousands of hours of time given by those involved, true evidence, I think, of the commitment of those involved to the future of these land-based sectors. So collaboration, working together, even with those we might not have worked with before. But secondly, consultation. And there is this principal group with these 3 subgroups, but we have worked ever so hard, I think, to consult more widely within the sectors. We've sent out surveys, we've organised stakeholder meetings. It's been hard work. Often when there's no response, it's required members of the group to just make that personal approach, to pick up the phone, to go and meet someone, to try and get a response. But we have been determined to consult widely, so that afterwards we could not be accused of creating apprenticeship standards that were without industry endorsement. We wanted standards that were fit for purpose. So collaboration, consultation, but then thirdly, communication, and this has been vital. Communication internally, within the principal group and within the subgroups. We've had regular meetings, regular email exchanges, regular teleconferences to keep the momentum, but also communication to the sector, so the sector knows what's going on, because a lot of this is still a mystery to them. And so press releases, email exchanges, articles in journals, communication. And critical to this has actually been some seed funding from some of our partners to ensure we had a small secretariat, one wonderful lady who's been our secretariat, and without her, she knows her way around the rural education arena in a way that I certainly don't. And without her, we would not have made the progress we have made. So collaboration, consultation, communication. Earlier this year, I'm pleased to say, the first fruits of our labours were realised with the approval of 3 new apprenticeships, a level 2 arborist, a level 2 forest operative, and a level 2 horticultural / landscape operative. It hasn't been a smooth journey to get to this point. The goalposts have been moving all along the way. It's one of the penalties of getting in early and being keen, isn't it? All the goalposts keep moving. But we have embraced the challenge. We have worked together to produce apprenticeship standards that now have industry endorsement. And the next step is to see these apprenticeships offered by many of those in the room, by various colleges, because I have to say, for the members of the principal group and the subgroups, the real satisfaction will come when we actually see folk enrolled on these courses and entering the sector. And the Duchy of Cornwall has recently taken on an apprentice, and we're just itching now to get him enrolled on the new Forest Operative 2 apprenticeship. As a principal group, we're now discussing what next. The qualifications beyond level 2. Right through to degree-level apprenticeships, and we're just about to send out a survey on that. You see, we need more, and I just endorse what's been said. We need more than a level 2 apprenticeship in place. We need career ladders. We need career pathways. We need to show people where they can come in and where they can go once they're in our sector. What are the next steps? Level 2, level 3, where can they get to? What can they aspire to be? But I just would ask you not to underestimate the resources required to achieve this. It's taken us 3 years just to develop the level 2 apprenticeship at considerable amount of time and cost. So in conclusion, arboriculture, forestry, horticulture and landscape in the Trailblazer apprenticeships have been created by an employer-led collaboration across the land-based sectors. And I would say this collaborative approach has to be continued and expanded going forward. New standards, however, are but one piece in the jigsaw. And there are many other barriers that we need together to dismantle in order to ensure that in the future there exists a strong and skilled workforce in the land-based sectors. Thank you.
Geraint, thank you very much. Your analysis is spot on, and I suspect what came through was your passion for this, and I also suspect that if it hadn't been for that, you wouldn't have achieved the collaboration that you have. So critical: collaboration, consultation and communication, a very strong message which we need to embrace. Thank you very much indeed.